This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
This is the motherfucking remix. A ninguna quiero tocar. Fueron meses buscándote, pero no te encontré en ninguna. Me imagino bellaqueándote, pero no me quieres ni en pintura. Tú eres el manicomio y yo tu loco, dándote like en Instagram a veces toco. Ese pulito cuando vas con ese jean apretado, yo sé que te has enterado. This is a remix. Te pido porfa no te vayas, quédate conmigo. Perdí la cuenta de los días que no te conmigo.
Program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know it. I know it. We talk about it. We do it. We do everything. That's the way that it goes. Anyways, hello on this lovely Friday, February the 28th of 2025, day 59th of the year. When only 306 days left to go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM and hanging out with our friends over there.
Radio.
Oh, yes, that biggest radio. Going on, you know, the stuff that we do over there. A lot of stuff, a lot of things. As we are hanging and banging and doing everything. So hopefully everything is fantastic in your neck of the woods as we are doing our stuff this morning, because a lot of stuff to talk about. It is Friday, so let's talk about how the Friday stuff works. It's Freeform Friday. So what does that mean? That means we cover everything that we can get a hold of. No main news story today. We just kind of cover everything that's going on. If you want to interact with the show, it's a simple process on doing so. Callinradio.com. Callinradio.com. We'll get you there. We'll be able to put you into our system. Video, audio, text messaging is the options that are going on. So I want to talk about something real quick. On this lovely Freeform Friday on the Rated R Safety Show. If you are an avid listener of Radio Big, got some changes going on tonight. Tonight is Cindy Scott's and Terry Dean's last shift on the station. They are going off to bigger and better. In regard to what they're doing, we do appreciate everything that they've done on Radio Big. So what's going to happen? Well, we're kind of in the look for getting some other people over there. So what you will get over there on Radio Big now is a lot of stuff information-wise that's going to be related to what goes on with Van Camp and Morgan, John and Heidi, and myself. For now, we'll see how this goes. So over the next week, that's what will be going on over there. A lot of stuff with us, just so you know. But we do really appreciate the time with Sydney Scott and Terry Dean hanging out on our channel. So there you go. So why don't we do this? Why don't we start talking right away about what the hell's going on with what was trending?
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so as we talk about the trends of the ends, what's on tap for today? Well, it's going to go something like this. We're going to talk about notable and noteworthy things that are going on in North Korea, causes some trouble. Billy Joel takes a tumble, and Sylvester Stallone gives back. We'll talk about that as we get into show business. Also, a Chicago-based thrifter finds an iconic dress. We'll talk about details inside of that, inside of the casting call. And also the newest member of Queen Kamala's family. We'll talk about that as we get into the Royals. So that's it. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff today because it is catch-up day. You know, you're not like ketchup, bottled ketchup, but you get it. Anyways, a lot of people in shock yesterday that we were talking about some stuff going on in regards of what we're doing in Banff with Energy Safety Canada. This is our third year there. Really exciting stuff in regards to going out, hanging out there. Would love to see you there. Like, seriously, would love to see you there. It's a good time. It really is. I have had so much fun the last 3 years going out there. Last year was all kinds of interesting stuff as we were able to do some thingamajiggers. And when I say thingamajiggers, let me explain what I mean here. I mean, we were able to do some stuff in regards to doing all kinds of interview. So if you take a look, I have it on the screen right now. Yeah. 2025 Safety Conference and the trade show. Yeah. If you take a look, if you take a gander, this is it. This is the countdown. Yep. Speaker Acre Central there. Dates are April the 28th through May 1st. April the 28th through May 1st. Think it'll be a great idea if you can come and hang out with us. All kinds of information. Like, seriously, serious amount of information that takes place during that conference. Love it, and the interaction. And I have to tell you, the scenery is beautiful. If you've never been to Banff, you're missing out. So, I mean, first class accommodations and everything going on there. In regards of how everything's laid out, I've just been super impressed with everything going on. Okay, so with that being said, why don't we go ahead and do this real quick, get into the news, because I think that's going to be important for us to talk about. So let's bring in our friends at Feature Story right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky is expected to sign a minerals deal in Washington on Friday. US President Donald Trump says he expects a very good meeting. President Zelensky is expected to push for security guarantees from Washington in the event of a peace deal with Russia. Chief editor at the Lviv Times, Lee Reaney, says the US hopes to bring about a ceasefire in the conflict and elections in Ukraine within months.
The first is a ceasefire. The second part of this peace plan is actually post-war election, which will happen likely. The date that I've heard is in late October this year. And so for that to happen, there needs to be a minimum, at least 6 months of no bombing, of a ceasefire, of some safety in the country. I think 6 months is, personally, I think it's not even enough time. But it does sound like the elections will go forward this year.
President Trump says a US-UK trade deal could happen very quickly. This after talks in the White House with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, in which Donald Trump suggested London may avoid tariffs being imposed on other countries. Donald Trump's also been invited for a second state visit to the UK. British Constitution expert Craig Prescott says the royal family is a key part of Downing Street's strategy.
Clearly, the monarchy is one of the trump cards that the UK have. You know, the offer of a state visit at Buckingham Palace or Windsor with the British royal family is one of the things that international leaders enjoy and appreciate. It's an example of the king sort of putting his personal views aside, whatever they may be, doing the role of monarch.
Beijing has threatened to hit back at President Donald Trump's threat to slap an extra 10% duty on Chinese imports on top of the 10% tariffs he imposed this month. China's accused the White House of shifting the blame and taking steps to destabilize global supply chains. Laura Westbrook reports from Hong Kong.
The fresh tariffs are in retaliation for China's alleged role in the flow of the drug fentanyl into America and would coincide with the start of China's annual parliamentary meetings on March 4th. This is when Beijing will unveil its economic priorities for the year. China has defended its record on fighting drug trafficking, with a Commerce Ministry spokesman saying China's anti-drug policy is among the strictest in the world. A spokesman said China wanted to return to negotiations with the US as soon as possible, but if the US insists on having its own way, China will counter with all necessary measures.
Israel's military says it failed in its mission to protect Israeli civilians on the 7th of October 2023. Its first official account of mistakes that led up to the attack by Hamas admits it misjudged the group's intentions and capabilities. Around 1,200 people were killed and over 250 hostages taken. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, the surprise flight to America taken on Thursday by Andrew and Tristan Tate, two social media espousers of aggressive masculinity who have been facing charges in Romania of rape and sex trafficking. President Trump at the White House claimed to know nothing of their departure from Bucharest and their arrival in Fort Lauderdale. But Matthew Jury, a lawyer representing 4 of Andrew Tate's alleged British victims, disagrees.
The Romanian government has acknowledged that the Trump administration raised the matter with the Romanian authorities last week. We know from sources that have been reported on in the Financial Times, which I think we can trust, have said that a serious pressure was leveraged against the Romanian authorities to return the Tate's passports. And lo and behold, here they are, travelling on a private jet from Romania to Fort Lauderdale in Florida.
And he said his clients are furious that justice against the Tate brothers may now be delayed, if not denied.
They are absolutely disgusted, dismayed, distraught, traumatized by the fact that the so-called leader of the free world has deemed it fit to intervene and interfere with the trial and the due process in respect of their alleged abuser.
The Tates are fervent supporters of President Trump and are dual US-UK citizens, so legally entitled to live in either country. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky is expected to sign a minerals deal in Washington on Friday. President Trump says a US-UK trade deal could happen very quickly. Beijing's threatened to hit back at President Donald Trump's threat to slap an extra 10% duty on Chinese imports. And Israel's military says it failed in its mission to protect Israeli civilians on the 7th of October 2023. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
Listen to our host
of the Rated R Safety Show.
self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Is there
safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and we're not 100% sure on what they meant. Things is mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, of course it could be magical. Anything can be, no doubt about that. Anyways, let's see. 16 minutes past the top of the hour. And we got still tons of things to talk about. Do in all of that great information of things to do around here. No doubt about that. So you ready for this Friday? I mean, I hope you are, because we're already in it regardless. Okay, so let's talk about some things that are going on between deportation efforts. That would be the first. Ending the war between Ukraine and Russia. Trump administration hasn't paid much attention to North Korea in its first month of so Kim Jong Jr. has begun rattling his saber. The Hermit Kingdom state media announced on Wednesday that it conducted cruise missile tests to display the military nuclear capability readiness. Regime newspaper Rodong Summon says the test was conducted to inform adversaries on who severely are threatening the security of the environment of the DPRK and escalating confrontational tensions about the retaliation capabilities of Korean People's Army in any space and the readiness of the various nuclear operations means. This is according to NK News. So worth remembering, North Korea has been sending troops and military equipment to Russia front lines in recent weeks too. So just a little FYI action in case if you forgot that. Important information. Always to talk a little bit about everything that is going on. Anyways, a British man is frustrated with the lack of urgency when it comes to filling in potholes in the town, and he decided to take it into his own hands. James Coxell of Castle Camps, England, installed a pair of fake legs outside or upside down, making it appear that someone dove into the larger water-filled road crater. The gimmick caught the attention of the county's council, which has since then vowed to repair it will be made as required, according to the BBC. Wasn't Domino's Pizza at one point stuffing some of these things, at least in the U.S., because they were taking time, and then they were actually said this has been filled by Domino's and we can fill you too, or some crap like that.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
It was just a question. Anyways, Billy Joel took a tumble while performing on the Mohegan Sun Resort in Connecticut last week. While singing It's Still Rock and Roll to Me, the 75-year-old appeared to lose his footing before tossing the mic and hitting the ground. Fans concerned were quickly put at ease after Joel got back up to his feet and continued the performance. This is according to The Sun. Not like the son of Billy Joel, but The Sun, the SUN newspaper. Some stuff there. That's for sure. So what else do we got? Sylvester Stallone partnered up with luxury dealership Vegas Auto Gallery to donate some of high-priced rides for the Power of Love Gala. The 2024 Lotus Emira sports car went to the top two bidders for around $500,000 apiece, meaning that the Cleveland Clinic of Lou Ruvo Center for Brain Health got $1 million donation. Stallone also threw in a day with him on the set of his show Tulsa King and signed bottles of the signature vodka. So there you go. You know, it would be interesting if you could be involved with one of the, just seeing him on the set and he can actually portray the different characters that he's done. That would be an interesting one. I have to tell you, I'm not familiar with Tulsa King. I know that it's on Paramount Plus, but I have not watched it. I'm not going to lie here, because there's no point there. So I don't know. Is it good? I think it's a Tyler Sheridan show, Yellowstone guy. I don't know. Some stuff. Okay, what else? On the latest episode of The Kardashians, why are we even talking about this? Kim Kardashian opens up to her sister, Kourtney Kardashian, about her relationship with eldest daughter, Northwest, has improved over the past year. After spending a long time being mad at her around the time that she divorced Ye, Kim says that North is obsessed with her and calls her the best mom. Kourtney emphasized it with her sister, or empathized with her sister, saying that her kids reacted the same way when she split with their dad. How did we make this onto the news? Somebody needs to tell me this, because it makes no sense whatsoever.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, a drastic decline in Americans calling themselves Christians seem to have arrested... What? Hold on. A drastic decline in Americans calling themselves Christians seem to have arrested, at least for now. What? I don't understand what that means. In 2007, Pew's religious landscaping study showed that 71% of Americans, adults, were self-identified Christians, but that number increasingly ticked down over the 2010s. But since in 2020, the number has been arranged between 60 to 64%, but holding steady at 1.7% of responders say that they're Jewish, unchanged since 2007. Overall, non-Christian believers of some faith systems, some faith systems have increased from 4.7% to 7.1%. What about simulation theory people? Where do they fall in? Is that like a religion, or is that just more like science, or is it I'm just trying to figure it out. Okay, so take a listen to this. One of the internet's most prominent original creators is looking to expand his empire. Yeah, Jimmy Donaldson, you might know him, best known online as his persona of Mr. Beast, has reportedly been raising hundreds of millions of dollars to value his production company around $5 billion. Donaldson has already leveraged his fame into commerce with successful chocolate and snack companies. Altogether, his brands bring in an estimated $400 million a year in sales. The Guardian reports that this move would consolidate everything under one umbrella. Most recently, Donaldson signed a fat deal with Amazon to produce a competitive-based reality show. Worth remembering, his big first viral sensation was nearly 24-hour video of him counting to 100,000. Got to start somewhere. I have access to the video. You can go out there and find it if you want to watch him count to 100,000. Hey, I'm just telling you, that's what it was. That was the video. Okay, Blue Origin is leaning in big into space tourism. I guess that's one way to lean, if you're going to lean into something. After a successful crewed mission that reached past Earth's atmosphere earlier this week, the Jeff Bezos-owned space technology company announced a stunt to launch a high-profile, all-female crew space later this year. Yeah. Gail King, Katy Perry, and Lauren Sanchez will be on board. The trio will join NASA rocket scientist Aisha Bao, civil rights activist Amanda Nugent, and producer Cariana Flynn on the historical woman crew for Blue Origin's next flight this spring. The flight will mark Origin's 11th human trip for the new Shepherd program. This is according to CBS. So there you go. So let's talk about this because there's a lot of stuff to talk about, no doubt about that, as we are hanging out.
Duh.
Did you hear about this? Because I'm still in shock about it. But actor Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, were found dead in their house in Santa Fe on Wednesday afternoon. She was in the bathroom floor and he was located in another room in the home, also on the floor. First responders believe that the two have been deceased for some time past in the conditions of their bodies. At the time, authorities are calling the deaths suspicious. One of the couple's 3 dogs was found dead inside of the home as well. Hackman was 95 and she was 63. Now, yesterday there was some things circulating saying that it could be carbon monoxide poisoning. And I was talking yesterday to a very close friend of mine that lives in Santa Fe. And he was telling me that the way the houses are constructed there, that he has a hard time believing that it would be carbon monoxide poisoning because they're so airy and not sealed very tight. So, interesting to hear. I don't know. I'm not trying to give you any conspiracy stuff. I'm just telling you what he said. He lives there. He's been there for like 30 years. Just saying. Okay, let's get into the swamp, because it feels like we need to do that. The first phase of the release of the notorious Epstein files began on Thursday without anything particularly notable to report. The White House first released binders of redacted files on social media influence before the legacy media and the general public. One of more troubling notes, Attorney General Pam Bondi announced Thursday that she has been informed that the New York FBI office has been withholding thousands of related documents that have not yet been reviewed or vetted, so it sounds like more details are on its way. Also, President Trump met with the UK Prime Minister at the White House on Thursday. Keir Starmer brought a formal signed invitation from King Charles inviting Trump to the second state visit, assuming that Trump accepts, which he indicated he would. It would mark the first time a president has been invited twice, given Trump's non-consecutive terms. Trump will reportedly meet with UK President Vladimir Zelensky at the White House this morning to finalize an agreement that would profit mining rare earth minerals with the U.S. So that is going to be interesting to see what happens there. No doubt. No doubt whatsoever as we are talking. Okay, the Dow, let's talk about it. Lost 193 points to close at 43,239 on Thursday. The S&P lost about 94 points to close at 5,861. And the NASDAQ lost about 530 points to close at 18,544. West Texas Intermediate closed at $70 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $73 a barrel. The natural average price of a gallon of gas was $3.12 on Thursday, and Bitcoin was mostly flat on the day, trading just around $84,000. Tonight's Mega Million drawing will be for a $197 million jackpot or a $91.9 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, you have the opportunity to do so. And tomorrow, Saturday night's Powerball drawing will be for a $272 million jackpot or a $124.4 million cash payout. So, go out there and look. Take a listen to this. Clint Eastwood is mourning the loss of actor Gene Hackman, calling him a dear friend and telling Deadline there was no finer actor than Gene. Eastwood, directed Hackman in 1992's Unforgiven. Actress Valerie Perrine, who starred alongside Hackman in 1978's Superman, called him a genius and one of the greatest to grace the silver screen. Tom Hanks shared thoughts on Instagram, capturing a photo of the late actor. There has never been a Gene Hackman type. There has only been Gene Hackman. Yeah, I mean, he was that good. For sure. Glad that we were able to get some of that stuff on the screen of what he did. Terrible to hear, of his passing. That's for sure. for sure, as we are talking. Okay, take a listen to this. A boxing match between Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Jake Paul could be on the horizon. Mayweather spoke about Paul's relation to his fight with Mike Tyson on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon this week, saying that he'd make it easy work of the 28-year-old in the ring. In response to Paul, jumped on X, writing, "I would knock you out in 2 rounds, and you can't sniff Mike Tyson's toe." So far, no response from Mayweather. I thought he was fighting his brother next. Isn't that supposed to happen like at the end of the next month? Or has that changed already? Anyways, a slice of crust of a piece of toast that allegedly was eaten by George Harrison in 1963 is now on the hands of the Beatles memorabilia dealer Joseph O'Donnell. The story goes that a 15-year-old Beatles fan was visiting the Harrison home when she pocketed the crust that was left behind on the plate. She placed it in a notebook with the caption, "Piece of George's breakfast, 2863. In 1991, the crust and the love letter John Lennon wrote to his ex-wife sold at auction for $94,800. No word on what O'Donnell's paid for the aspect. So there you go. What else do we have? A cause of death for Michelle Trachtenberg won't be released from her family as it's opted not to have an autopsy performed. One would take place if there was whether suspicious or criminal, but that is not the case. As previously reported, Michelle was found in her apartment by her mom on Wednesday. She had recently undergone a liver transplant, which could have been a factor in her passing. She was only 39 at that time. It's crazy to think about that as we are sitting here going, what is going on there? No doubt about that. Anyways, with that being said, why don't we go ahead and do this right now? Why don't we go ahead and do some news? Because that seems to be like something important to do. So normally we would do a main story during this time, but not today, not on a Freeform Friday. It's news, and news.
Here is the news on the Radio R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky is expected to sign a minerals deal in Washington on Friday. US President Donald Trump says he expects a very good meeting. President Zelensky is expected to push for security guarantees from Washington in the event of a peace deal with Russia. Chief editor at the Lviv Times, Lee Reaney, says the US hopes to bring about a ceasefire in the conflict and elections in Ukraine within months.
The first is a ceasefire. The second part of this peace plan is actually post-war election, which will happen likely, the date that I've heard is in late October this year. And so for that to happen, there needs to be a minimum, at least 6 months of no bombing, of a ceasefire, of some safety in the country. I think 6 months is, personally, I think it's not even enough time. But it does sound like the elections will go forward this year.
President Trump says a US-UK trade deal could happen very quickly. This after talks in the White House with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, in which Donald Trump suggested London may avoid tariffs being imposed on other countries. Donald Trump's also been invited for a second state visit to the UK. British Constitution expert Craig Prescott says the royal family is a key part of Downing Street's strategy.
Clearly, the monarchy is one of the trump cards that the UK has. You know, the offer of a state visit at Buckingham Palace or Windsor with the British royal family is one of the things that international leaders enjoy and appreciate. It's an example of the king sort of putting his personal views aside, whatever they may be, doing the role of monarch.
Beijing has threatened to hit back at President Donald Trump's threat to slap an extra 10% duty on Chinese imports on top of the 10% tariffs he imposed this month. China's accused the White House of shifting the blame and taking steps to destabilize global supply chains. Laura Westbrook reports from Hong Kong.
The fresh tariffs are in retaliation for China's alleged role in the flow of the drug fentanyl into America and would coincide with the start of China's annual parliamentary meetings on March 4th. This is when Beijing will unveil its economic priorities for the year. China has defended its record on fighting drug trafficking, with a Commerce Ministry spokesman saying China's anti-drug policy is among the strictest in the world. A spokesman said China wanted to return to negotiations with the US as soon as possible, but if the US insists on having its own way, China will counter with all necessary measures.
Israel's military says it failed in its mission to protect Israeli civilians on the 7th of October 2023. Its first official account of mistakes that led up to the attack by Hamas admits it misjudged the group's intentions and capabilities. Around 1,200 people were killed and over 250 hostages taken. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, the surprise flight to America taken on Thursday by Andrew and Tristan Tate, two social media espousers of aggressive masculinity who have been facing charges in Romania of rape and sex trafficking. President Trump at the White House claimed to know nothing of their departure from Bucharest and their arrival in Fort Lauderdale. But Matthew Jury, a lawyer representing 4 of Andrew Tate's alleged British victims, disagrees.
The Romanian government has acknowledged that the Trump administration raised the matter with the Romanian authorities last week. We know from sources that have been reported on in the Financial Times, which I think we can trust, have said that a serious pressure was leveraged against the Romanian authorities to return the Tate's passports. And lo and behold, here they are, travelling on a private jet from Romania to Fort Lauderdale in Florida.
And he said his clients are furious that justice against the Tate brothers may now be delayed, if not denied.
They are absolutely disgusted, dismayed, distraught, traumatized by the fact that the so-called leader of the free world has deemed it fit to intervene and interfere with the trial and the due process in respect of their alleged abuser.
The Tates are fervent supporters of President Trump and are dual US-UK citizens, so legally entitled to live in either country. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky is expected to sign a minerals deal in Washington on Friday. President Trump says a US-UK trade deal could happen very quickly. Beijing's threatened to hit back at President Donald Trump's threat to slap an extra 10% duty on Chinese imports. And Israel's military says it failed in its mission to protect Israeli civilians on the 7th of October 2023. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
It's a new year, but it's feeling harder than ever to find and hire qualified people you need, especially for small businesses. That's where LinkedIn Job comes in. They make it easier to find people you want to talk to faster and for free. You can create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience and use screening questions to get your role in front of the most qualified people. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering qualified hires versus leading competitors. I have to tell you that we have used LinkedIn Jobs to even find some of the people that we have here at Safety FM. LinkedIn Jobs can help you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your jobs for free on linkedin.com/safetyfm. That's linkedin.com/safetyfm to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. And don't forget to tell them that you heard it right here on Safety FM.
Rated R Safety Show. Sarcastic? Never.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork. When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' Best Life Insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today. Instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. Ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
Tearing the ass out of you like gas station sushi.
Okay, here we go. 43 minutes past the top of the hour. We are still hanging out here on the Rated R Safety Show on this lovely Freeform Friday. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that just seems like what's going on, man. Yeah, this what you're taking a listen to right now is Porfa by CRRDR. Songs readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music. Porfa. Yeah, some different stuff coming your way, that's for sure. Anyways, we'd like to thank CRRDR for allowing us to play this right here on the Rated R Safety Show. So let's get back into the move and the groove of the things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because we need to do that, of course, and talk about some things. But if anything, let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Our Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. And the people at To Write Love on Our Arms want you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to twloha.com. That's twloha.com and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, there'll be information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, just to name a few. That's twloha.com to write love on her arms. Go there. It could change your life. No doubt about that. Let's talk about some movies that are coming out this week because, people want to know this with it being a Friday. Last Breath comes out today. It's a rated R drama based on a true story with some seasoned deep sea divers who battle the raging elements to rescue their crew mate who is trapped hundreds of feet below the ocean surface. So that's out today. My Dead Friend Zoe. It's a comedy drama rated R, engaged in a mysterious relationship with her best dead friend from the army. A female Afghanistan veteran comes head to head with her Vietnam vet grandfather at the family's ancestral lake house. That comes out today. Riff Raff rated R comedy, limited release today. A former criminal ordinary life is turned upside down when his old family shows up for a long-awaited reunion. And that comes out today, rated R, like I said, as well. Okay, so let's talk about some other stuff because there's always room to talk about stuff. Okay, so let's talk about spring complaining. For the first time ever, Major League Baseball is letting players challenge umpires' calls on balls and strikes and using technology to review the decision. The spring training is about 60% of the game's players can appeal the automated ball strike system, ABS, often called robot umps. Here's how it works. Human umpires still make the calls, but Hawkeye technology, which is already in use in sports like tennis and soccer, determines if each pitch is in the strike zone. A player disagrees with the call, they can challenge by tapping their head, I guess. Each team gets 2 challengers per game. Of course, a wrong call on an important pitch can change the course of the game, but at least this spring, players have the way to have it corrected. Baseball first started testing the system 6 years ago. In the minor leagues, at least robots can't throw out a dirty look. And I saw a report about this on TV last night. Apparently, there's players that are having trouble adjusting to not having a strike zone, and that is having every commercial break. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what ends up taking place with some of this stuff, if you like baseball, of course. Anyways, testing the limits, a new survey attempted to get the idea of modern relationship boundaries among couples, specifically what constitutes as cheating, according to a poll of 2,000 sexually active adults. 51% of people said so-called harmless flirting could spell the end of a relationship. Even worse, chatting with an ex is a deal breaker, about 60% of people, and watching porn could end things into about 23% of people. What is acceptable in the survey conducted is Talker Research founder that 79% agree that reading erotica is fair game, 76% saying using toys is okay, and dancing with someone else got a thumbs up with 66% of respondents. Half of the respondents said that no for their partner to have pictures of their ex on their phone or on social media. And 62% said that they should not be texting with an ex. On the other hand, a third of respondents said it's okay to be friends with the ex, as long as you don't text them or chat with them, apparently. Man, I should have read the terms of condition before I got involved with this whole story. That's for sure. That's what it sounds like. Anyways, why don't we do something a little bit more positive with our life, and why don't we bring in some John Smalls? Let him tell us about the Motivation Minute, because that guy is always motivated about things that are going on in life. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Here's some John Smalls coming your way with the Motivation Minute.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1-minute devotion. Satan wants us to believe that God is hard-hearted, that he is quick to judge and slow to forgive. Nothing could be farther from the truth. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. That's Lamentations 3. No matter how miserably we might have failed, no matter how far we might have fallen, God stands ready to forgive us. We do not have to prove ourselves or earn God's forgiveness or promise to never sin again. As David testified, the mercy of the Lord is from everlasting to everlasting. Lord Jesus, help us focus on your mercy rather than our sins. Amen. If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com.
The Motivation Minute.
Today's quote was submitted by Mark. Douglas MacArthur said, "There is no security in this life. There is only opportunity." I love that. A broadcaster friend of mine worked with a guy who said, "We don't have problems here. We have opportunities." That is a great way to look at things, by the way. Most things. One day early in my friend's career, he interrupted a manager's meeting. The owner and the managers were in there, and he rushed in and said, "Hey, we have a problem." Well, the owner reminded him, No, we have an opportunity. My friend said, "Yeah, we're going to have the opportunity to put up a new radio tower. The guy mowing the tower site hit ours with his tractor." Can you imagine being in that meeting?
The Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
In Port-au-Prince, Haiti gangs attacked the Del Mots 30 neighborhood, resulting in civilian casualties and displacing residents. Witnesses reported gunfire before dawn, causing families to flee their homes in panic.
Local media reported the deaths of 2 Haitian soldiers during the assault. Authorities have not yet commented on the incident. Recent gang violence has displaced over 6,000 people in the area within the past month. Chris Anderson reporting.
Ukraine and the United States have reached a preliminary economic agreement involving the exploitation of rare earth minerals, according to Ukrainian officials. The deal aims to secure continued U.S. military support for Ukraine. Joseph Eckerson with the latest.
The agreement is expected to be signed by Friday, with plans for Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to meet U.S. President Donald Trump in Washington. Discussions will likely focus on ongoing military aid to Ukraine.
In the Gaza Strip, 6 infants have died from hypothermia over the past 2 weeks as families shelter in tents and damaged buildings amid a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas.
The cold, wet winter has exacerbated the dire living conditions for displaced residents. Dr. Ahmed Al-Farah from Nasser Hospital confirmed the deaths were due to severe cold exposure. The Gaza Health Ministry reports a total of 15 child deaths from hypothermia this winter. Benjamin Wright reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
More than 20 employees resigned from the Department of Government Efficiency, refusing to dismantle critical public services. This mass resignation poses a setback to President Donald Trump's administration's efforts to reduce the federal workforce.
The employees emphasized their commitment to serving the American public and criticized the involvement of underqualified political appointees in the initiative. The administration faces significant backlash over budget cuts affecting health care, veteran services, and housing assistance. Lawrence Keller reporting.
House Speaker Mike Johnson is encountering opposition from both Republicans and Democrats as he attempts to pass a budget blueprint. This step is crucial for advancing President Donald Trump's policy agenda.
The budget proposal includes significant cuts to social programs, leading to debates and challenges within Congress. The outcome of these negotiations will impact the administration's ability to implement its planned initiatives. Kevin Sanders reporting.
The IU Indianapolis men's basketball team faced a harrowing incident when their bus caught fire on Interstate 275 after a game at Northern Kentucky. All team members and staff were safely evacuated without injuries.
The fire resulted from a mechanical issue, leading to extensive damage to the bus. A replacement bus transported the team back to Indianapolis safely. There were no injuries to any of the players, staff, or bus driver. Kyle Norris reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
More hits to help you work. Because to get rich, you gotta work hard.
Yeah, dude, like I just made so much money that I could just sit around on my ass all day and play video games.
Wait, I forgot about Dogecoin.
Dogecoin rules!
Radio is
Yeah, I guess Dogecoin does rule, I guess. I mean, that's kind of one way to look at it when it's all said and done. Anyway, so let's talk about this. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse, of course. Let's talk about some things that happened back on this day, back in 2021. Chadwick Boseman posthumously wins Best Actor at the 78th Golden Globes. The award is for his role in Ma Rainey Black Bottom. That happened back on this date in 2021. Let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. Jonathan Davis turns 25. Luka Doncic turns 26. A.B. Champion, 28. Jason Alden turns 48. Ali Larder turns 49. Tasha Smith, 54. Pat Mohan turns 56. Robert Sean Leonard turns 56 as well. Barry McGuinness turns 64. Kelly Bishop, 81. And Mario Andretti turns 85 today. That's some birthdays for you. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, well, I have some of those. It's National Chocolate Shuffle Day, National Pancake Day, first day of Ramadan, and Rare Disease Day. Rare Disease Day. So there you go, some stuff to talk about. No doubt about that. Let's talk about some whack facts real quick. Ancient Egyptians slept on pillows made of stone. Seems like it would defeat the purpose. The Leaning Tower of Pisa leans because of the soft soil that was built on it, or built on. The soft base has protection in front of at least four powerful, or has been protected by four powerful earthquakes. Frogs sometimes eat enough fireflies that they themselves can glow. Genetically, pineapples, bananas, watermelons, pumpkins, and avocados are all berries. Humans cannot walk in a straight line without visual points. When blindfolded, we gradually walk in a circle. In England, the Speaker of the House is not allowed to speak. I don't want to be the Speaker of the House. Could you imagine? I can't speak, can't talk, can't do anything I want. Oh, that's something else. Okay, if you need a random joke for today, I got one for you. I still have my late grandmother in my contacts. We shouldn't have scattered her ashes on such a windy day. You get it? Contacts? Okay, forget it. Okay, if you need a phone starter for today, try this. What should you never do naked? What should you never do naked? Yeah, that's a legit question. If you need a question for the water cooler, try this. A new survey found that 15% of us have done this with at a friend's birthday party. What is it? Watch a sporting event. Yeah, that's it. Watching a sporting event. Just saying. So that's it. That is the coup de grace of all of it. Anyways, that's going to sum up our time. At the top of the hour, I will be going over to radiobig.fm for the next couple hours or so, if you want to come and hang out with me. If you don't, you can hang out here on Safety FM and hang out with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. That's it. Appreciate the time. Hopefully you enjoyed our time together. Thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, it makes no sense to do what we do around here. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this. There is a wonderful law of nature that the three things we crave most in life is happiness, freedom, and peace of mind are always attained by giving them to someone else. Think about that. It might take you places you did not expect. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
me texteas que la busqué por la noche. Solo me río después que me piché. Despertó de madrugada y te veo preocupada, buscando la contraseña de mi sal desesperada. Según tú, tienes la corazonada, que me veo con otro pero no hay prueba de nada. El WhatsApp me lo hackeaste, las compras las chequeaste. Pusiste a tu amiga que me hablara para probarme. Yo pendiente para que nada te falte, y tú pendiente que culo voy a robarme. El WhatsApp me lo hackeaste, las compras las chequeaste. Pusiste a tu amiga que me hablara para probarme. Yo pendiente para que nada te falte, pero me pillaste, yo sé lo que arde. Yo